Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex, and I have some news updates from around the land of smiles and the ASEAN region for you today, this Thursday, September 26th. Now, today we'll be talking about floods hitting northern Thailand, a housing-challenged polyglot making waves online, and a little later, some major economic stories coming out of the Asian region and beyond. Now, Thailand, our first story is going to be about what everybody's talking about. Thailand is legalizing same-sex marriage, and a historic milestone has been reached in Southeast Asia. Thailand has made history as the first Southeast Asian country to legalize same-sex marriage. Now, the king signed the law, which will take effect in 120 days, with the first marriages expected in January 2025. The new law grants same-sex couples the same rights as heterosexual couples, including adoption and inheritance rights. This milestone follows years of LGBTQ activism and advocacy. Despite ongoing societal challenges, public support for marriage equality is strong, marking a major step forward for LGBTQ rights in the region. Now, this will be the second country outside of Taiwan, at least in Asia, that is moving forward with this policy. So lovely to see the dominoes falling for this community that, I was born into these politics, right? The LGBTQ movement was our civil rights movement growing up in America, leading all the way to the Supreme Court decision that made it the law of the land over there. And now you're seeing it in many European countries and now coming to Asia, which is can be surprising to some, but certainly not surprising for people here in Thailand. But yeah, it's interesting to see Thailand taking the lead in so many of these social issues that seem to be controversial in other parts of the world, not really bringing up a whole lot of firestorms, not a whole lot of protests against this. So congratulations, everybody part of the community here in Thailand, for all of your hard work and dedication to this effort. Kudos. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. How is this rollout going to look? And are you proud of Thailand for making such a move? All right, moving on to our next story. I want to get a wheel. We're going to start spinning a wheel over here where we get to land on whichever nationality is misbehaving badly in Thailand and facing deportation. Any guesses today? Well, I'll tell you. A Russian man has been fined for reckless driving on Koh Samui. That's right, a Russian man we're naming and shaming, Alexander Sharigo, was fined 5,000 baht for dangerous driving on Koh Samui, drawing mixed reactions from locals. A Thai woman shared a video in a Facebook group showing Sharigo's reckless driving, which included speeding and parking illegally. Police quickly located his yellow luxury car and fined him for failing to report a color change and unpaid vehicle tax. Sharigo apologized for his actions, while some netizens praised the police's response. Others felt the punishment was too lenient and called for harsher penalties. Yeah, I don't know. Reckless driving is always dangerous, especially, look, this was daytime stuff. That's, at least he wasn't drunk driving, right? It wasn't under the influence. At the same time, it doesn't really matter. Those are some windy roads that get pretty tight. And when you're doing those reckless maneuvers, going around trucks and things like that, you never know what's going to be in a blind spot that's just around the corner. So 5,000 baht for somebody driving a luxury car. That does beg the question, like, it brings to mind the Scandinavian countries that do those fines based on income, right? Like, what are your assets worth? We're going to fine you 10% rather than some sort of set fee, because that's the problem in these cases. A 5,000 baht fine, that's really just the fee for breaking the law when it comes to this kind of stuff with people with this kind of money. What are your thoughts, guys? Is this a suitable punishment, or should there be more in store for this guy? Let me know. Yeah, I don't know. Reckless driving, yellow sports cars, 5,000 baht. It's not really going to make a dent in terms of what this guy is actually going to feel pain for, but hopefully the public drubbing will alter the behavior. I have my doubts. All right. Now, anyways, spin the wheel again. What is it now? Oh, India. A Thai woman has alleged an STD after a relationship with an Indian quote-unquote businessman. A 24-year-old Thai woman, Miss B, a pseudonym, has accused an Indian man posing as an Arab businessman of luring her into a relationship and leaving her with a sexually transmitted disease. After meeting through her nail salon, The pair had unprotected sex, after which the man disappeared and blocked all contact. Ms. B later discovered that the man had deceived many women and LGBTQ individuals, with around 100 victims in Samut Prakan and nearby provinces. Experiencing severe symptoms, she plans to seek medical help while authorities continue their search for the alleged con man. Gross. Nasty. All right, guys, don't fall for the tricks. 100 victims. Jesus Christ, this guy is prolific, man. This seems like a Netflix documentary out of the gates. But yeah, be on the lookout. You can see some of the identifying markers right there. And good God, for the love of God, just wrap it up, everybody. Use protection if you're engaging in sexual activity with unknown people. This guy, hilariously, man, he's an equal opportunity abuser, because he was going for the LGBT community, the straight community, whoever. You can get it. But absolutely nasty that he was spreading around whatever STDs, undisclosed at this point, but apparently severe symptoms. Sounds rough for Miss B. Hopefully she can find the guy, an end can be brought to this madness. But what do you think? Like, is the con man within his rights to try and do whatever he can to get into bed with the people? Should he face some sort of punishment? Is public shaming enough? Or is there actually criminal activity going on with this guy? I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think about this story? Pretty gross. Sorry, guys. I know it's the morning. Shouldn't be thinking about severe symptoms of those kinds of things. So why don't we move on quickly from that story into some more interesting stories about Thai influencers. Now, we did a story about this, a similar story to this earlier, so I'm trying to get warnings out there, because a lot of influencers do watch these shows, and we've been seeing some get in trouble, including one that some of our cameramen are a fan of for defamation, things like that. There are people that are getting in trouble for endorsing products that they are not allowed to be endorsing here in Thailand. So everybody be careful, because our next story is about a Thai influencer who has been detained for promoting online gambling. So the Thai influencer Tanakrit, known as Bali, was detained for promoting online gambling through his Facebook page, which has over 410,000 followers. The CIB officers discovered that Bali was posting comedic clips containing links to gambling websites, earning 2,500 baht per post. Bali admitted to being hired by gambling site owners to create and post these videos. The CIB charged him under the Gambling Act of 1935 for promoting unauthorized gambling, following an investigation by the Technology Crime Suppression Division. All right, everybody, pump your brakes. Casinos are coming to Thailand soon. But what does that mean for the online gambling division? That's still illicit. And as far as I am aware, there are no stipulations for a rollout of online gambling websites that will be legal in Thailand. So that's a fair warning to everybody. Obviously, online gambling websites make a lot of money. They have the money to be able to pay influencers. Influencers typically take their money under the table, right? Like, there's like a lot of easy ways. Just slip the cash. It goes unreported. Influencers like it. They're not paying taxes. The companies like it because they can advertise their illegal businesses. But that's fair warning, because apparently the CIB isn't having any of it. So if any of you influencers are tempted by these, sketchy money, I mean, 2,500 baht a post, it's not even a whole lot to be dealing with this kind of a headache from the bureaucracy. So do be careful and understand that gambling is still illegal in Thailand at the time. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you going to hit the casinos in Thailand when they come through? I'm a little, I'm nervous about myself. Every time I go to Vegas, I set myself budgets and limits on my days, and I make sure I'm only there for 3 days at a time, so I don't, bury myself in gambling debt and get my knees broken. Now that it'll be readily available here in Thailand, going to be biting my nails. But yeah, what do you guys make of that? Will you be hitting the casinos next time you come for a visit? Let me know. All right, moving on. Our next story, we are heading up north to where the flood-hit regions of Thailand. Now, electricity bills have been waived in the flood-hit northern Thailand. Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra has announced the waiving of electricity bills this month for residents in flood-affected areas of northern and northeastern Thailand. Additionally, in October, bills will be reduced by 30% as part of a broader relief package. The Finance Ministry is also providing a debt moratorium for small-scale farmers. To improve disaster response, the government is enhancing the Tang Rath app for emergency alerts and developing the cell broadcast service for quicker warnings. These measures aim to ease the burden on communities and improve access to critical information during natural disasters. I mean, it's been happening forever. Like the floods, especially in northern Thailand, the poorer regions of Thailand where the infrastructure is not so good. Look, this is good news, right? Like waiving electricity bills, discounting electricity bills next month, trying to put into place more infrastructure. But again, it just feels too little too late for these areas of Thailand where we know this is going to happen every single year. The government seems often too caught up in whatever the political turmoil is in terms of leadership and less significant social issues than ensuring that these frequently flood hit regions are prepared for the storms that are coming. Now, if you do want to help, please go check out Bangkok Community Help. We've been sharing a lot of content with them lately. They have been up in the north giving out disaster kits, doing their part to try and relieve a lot of the pain that people have been feeling up north. So please do check them out. You can find them on the Thaiger social media pages or on Instagram at Bangkok Community Help. Check it out, everybody. All right, on to our last story in Thailand. We have an interesting story of a viral multilingual homeless woman who is gaining all sorts of good attention. Now, a homeless woman with polyglot skills has gone viral in Thailand after her story was shared by entrepreneur Apisit Kongsin. While delivering food in Nakhon Sawan, Apisit met Manatsanun, who impressed him with her fluency in multiple languages, including English, and Finnish. It was revealed that she had studied abroad and worked in foreign countries before returning to Thailand due to health issues, including depression. Despite efforts by her family to reconnect, Manatsanun prefers her current lifestyle. Now, Apisit has hired her as a brand ambassador, hoping to offer financial stability and help her find better living conditions. Well, I actually have a few Finnish friends here in town, and I'm sure this story will be of interest to them. I've never heard of a Thai person learning Finnish. Even these guys who are married to Thai women, they don't speak a lick of it. So that's pretty impressive to me that she's able to, she's gotten this far in life with these language skills and still finds herself challenged in this kind of way. This is something that I always like to talk about on the show. Mental health is health, right? Like if you are in poor mental health, you're not going to be able to take care of yourself. And that is certainly the case with this woman who surely has the skills to find gainful employment and take care of herself. But with mental health, with a mental health crisis that goes untreated, it persists and you end up stuck in this rut that you just can't get yourself out of. I know, I've been there before myself. It's challenging and it's tough. So hopefully, look, she's found a guardian angel right now, right? Like a little angel investor to help bring her out of her current situation. But so many people go without it. So hopefully there's more in the way of mental health support for this community in Thailand, for every community really. And also just talk to yourselves. Like nobody's going to take care of yourself more than you. So it's important to check in with yourself and take stock. Make sure that you're doing okay, because these things creep and it could be worse. But fortunately, here we have a happy ending to this story. But now we're going to head on to our greater ASEAN region. And first up, we are heading to Cambodia. Now, Cambodia's new canal raises concerns over the Mekong River impact. So Cambodia plans to build a 1.7 billion Funan Techo Canal to boost trade by linking the Mekong River to the Gulf of Thailand. The canal, backed by Chinese investment, aims to reduce Cambodia's reliance on Vietnam for exports. However, it raises concerns about disrupting the Mekong River's natural flood systems, potentially worsening droughts and depriving Vietnam's Mekong Delta of essential nutrient-rich silt, vital for its agricultural sector. While Cambodian authorities downplay the environmental risks, Vietnam quietly expresses concerns over potential impacts on global food security and the region's ecosystem. I don't know. Here we go. The ever-constant push and pull between economic development and environmental protection. And the obvious interests are saying the obvious things, right? Like, so Vietnam stands to lose a lot of its negotiating power with Cambodia if Cambodia is able to link up to the Gulf of Thailand directly. So you can understand, like, hey, the environment, what about the Mekong? It's natural. You can also understand Cambodia downplaying it, like, oh, come on, it'll be fine, because they stand everything to gain from the development of this project. It's been a weird story coming out of Southeast Asia and the ASEAN nations, because Cambodia has been pulling out of a lot of its cooperation with its neighbors lately due to internal pressure, not external pressure, which is also surprising to see a government in the region really capitulating to what local protesters are demanding. So I guess at the end of the day, you got to do what your people want you to do. That's technically good governance. At the same time, it's important to be responsible with while undergoing these massive infrastructure projects that will have huge impacts on both the economy and the environment. So we'll keep an eye on that as it develops and see how the politics plays out around that story. Yeah, Bamboo Buzz. Any good news? I don't know. No. There's man, I don't know. If it bleeds, it leads. But yeah, I thought that homeless woman story was kind of good. Like, she's getting pulled out of poverty by that angel investor, and then also, come on, the floods. That's a double-edged sword, right? Floods bad. Government trying to help. All right. Okay, fine. I'll get some happier stories tomorrow. Friday's our happy news day, guys. All right. I think I've tried to make that consistent over time, but hey, the news is the news. Got to do it when it's sad. And unfortunately, our next story is also sad. Now, we're going to be doing a lot more stories about India because it's such a big nation that has such a huge population here in Thailand. And, you know, there's a lot of interest in the stories that happen over there. And unfortunately, you know, when you talk about India and news lately, you're talking about one thing, and that's the bad behavior of, well, the men. And in this case, the police as well. So Indian police are now facing an investigation over alleged assaults on a woman who came to them for help. A retired Indian High Court judge will investigate allegations that a woman was physically and sexually assaulted by police in Odisha after seeking help at a police station. The 32-year-old woman and her fiancé, an army officer, were harassed on the road and went to the station for assistance. Instead, the woman claims that she was abused again, leading to widespread outrage and the suspension of 4 officers. The High Court granted her bail, criticizing the police's failure to follow proper procedures. The case has sparked discussions about police brutality and victim shaming in India. So, yes, this woman and her husband, or fiancé, excuse me, were harassed by a gang of men. And then, of course, what do you do when you're harassed by people? You want to go to the police for help. Apparently, the police allegedly said she was hysterical, she was drunk, and berating them. I mean, I would be hysterical too if I had just been harassed by a gang of men. At the same time, she is alleging that the police, first of all, women police kicked her and abused her. Man police threatened to do worse to her in that situation. And it just goes to show you, you know, the department itself has suspended those officers, so they must think that something is up. But, you know, it sucks that the only way that these stories get attention is if it goes viral, like it did in this case, because these stories are just all too frequent coming out of India. So hopefully some examples can be made that will hopefully put a curb or a stop to this kind of behavior, which has become all too frequent coming out of Indian news stories. Now, we've got some interesting economic news at the end. I know interesting and economic news don't belong in the same sentence for a lot of our viewers, but screw you guys. This is your vegetables. You need to know what's going on in the world. Now, Japan is facing a rice shortage amid weather issues and a tourism surge. No rice in Japan? What are we going to do? Japan is experiencing its largest rice shortage in decades due to a combination of bad weather, an aging farming population, and increased demand from tourists. Supermarkets have been running out of rice, and prices rose by 5% since the start of 2024. The shortage has been exacerbated by Japan's restrictive rice policies, which limits imports and protect domestic farmers with high tariffs. Tourist consumption of rice more than doubled from 2022 to 2023. No shocker there, obviously. There's just more tourists, further straining the supply. The shortage has driven up food prices, contributing to inflation in Japan. I mean, they got good rice over there. What am I talking about? If I'm in Japan, I'm eating rice every single day. Let's be real. So I don't know how they do this. Is a constant issue with Japanese economics. There's an aging population, right? The workers, pretty much all, like the aging population are the farmers. The young workers go into that high stress corporate lifestyle where they're working 80 hours a week for our corporate overlords, praise be. And yeah, we're leaving the fields untended. And not only that, they don't allow immigration, right? They have a really restrictive immigration policy. And now a completely aging population, no replacement birth rate as well. I don't know what they think they're doing. It seems like they're striking out on every major economic policy, and it's turning into a ticking time bomb. So now, wages stagnant, workers working too hard to even have families, no replacement workers, no immigration, inflation is getting higher. Spells disaster, Japan. Please get your act together because we all love you, we all love visiting you, and we all want to eat your rice. So, yeah, please let me know your thoughts on that in the comments because that has been a source of controversy. It's like the whole world is yelling at Japan to behave a certain way, and Japan's like, no. Frustrating. All right, our last story of the day. We're heading over to Vietnam. Well, actually, to the U.S., where Vietnam's president is meeting U.S. corporations to boost its tech sector. All right, Vietnam's president, To Lam, on his first U.S. visit, pledged to boost Vietnam's tech economy during meetings with top U.S. firms like Meta, Apple, Blackstone, and Warburg Pincus in New York. Meta, with millions of users in Vietnam, expressed plans to expand investments, including producing virtual reality glasses in the country. Lam also discussed cooperation in energy, AI, and data centers with U.S. firms. His visit underscores Vietnam's focus on digital transformation and developing its semiconductor and AI industries as strategic priorities for future growth. Yeah, interesting. You know, presidential visits to the U.S. aside, Facebook Meta is the main tool used in these economies in Southeast Asia. Between Facebook Marketplace, advertising businesses, creating business pages. You know, outside of China, every other country is very, very much beholden to Meta. So good to see that they're doing more close cooperation. I don't know. Are you guys going to be buying those VR goggles anytime soon? Let me know what you think in the comments. That's it for the news stories. Let me wrap up, then I'll get into the comments. Go to thetiger.com for more news stories throughout the day. Go to ASEANnow.com, sign up, join the conversation. Follow me. I love you. Anyways, that's it for the show. Let me get into the comments now.